And this week's hair icon is Zac Efron. Now, Zac's hair, he's gone through quite a lot of different phases. Obviously, when he was young, it was very sort of long. It was in High School Musical, it was very long. It was sort of very sort of mop top. It came very much into the front, sort of surfer look. And at the time, I think at the moment, it was very much of the moment. I think it looked quite cool then. I remember when I was at school, admiring him, thinking he always looked quite good, quite cool, and that was very much when a lot of the guys when I was at school also had longer hair like that as well. So it was of the moment, but looking back at it now, I don't feel like it's aged particularly well. He's gone through quite a few different hairstyles. I think he generally, whatever he does, he tends to look quite good because he's a very muscular, very athletic looking guy and just is a very good looking guy. So it was quite tricky picking the top 5 haircuts, but I think there are 5 very decent ones we've got here. And in at number 5 is this haircut where he's had it platinum blonde. And this particular one that he's had here, this particular haircut, I feel like is quite a nice one. I've seen it in the past where he'd had it done and it was very heavy. The fade was very low. It was almost then not blended into the top and kept very low, very heavy, really disconnected through the sides and didn't look great. Whereas this one, it's got much more of a nicer fade. It's the blend going back. There's enough weight for it to blend back, but actually not too much that it sort of sits too heavy. I think the texture on top is great. It's a real nice disheveled look, and it's something that is not mainstream, something that is a bit quirky, but nothing that's too crazy quirky. In at number 4 is where he's got this sort of nice bit of lengthening through the top, but gone quite a bit shorter through the sides. I like it when he goes really quite short through the sides, but still having quite a bit of length. The texture's really nice, really messy. The fade hasn't gone too high, but it's high enough that it still looks like it is blended in and faded in. Similar to the haircut previous, but without the blonde, I think this works really quite nicely and really well for him. In at number 3 is this haircut where it's really short the whole way over. I love the texture. I love how it just comes forward. There's not really too much product you need to have in through this. It's very soft, very elegant. I sort of look at this and think it's really quite an expensive looking haircut because I know the effort and detail that would need to go into it. I just think it looks great on him. It's sort of to make it look as though it hasn't necessarily been cut is quite a tricky feat, and I think the way that they've achieved this is great. It's a lovely silhouette, and I think it just looks great on him. In at number 2 is this haircut where obviously he was a lot younger here now. It's real broken up texture. I love that it's sort of really tightened through the edges and then sort of goes out into a little bit more of a V shape. When you do that on a lot of guys, it sometimes can look a little bit too exaggerated, but I think they've got the proportions and the balance on this really nicely. Obviously quite a lot of product in through that top area to really give it that separation. I think the length works really nicely on him. There's something that always really annoys me and that you see in a lot of photos is when he has his sideburns super low, and I think on here it's not too low, probably lower than what I would generally go for when I'm cutting someone's hair, but I still think that proportion that he's got there works really quite nicely. And my favourite haircut of Zac Efron's is this one where he's got a little bit more length the whole way around it. Nothing crazy long compared to sort of how he used to have it, but it still sits just tighter around the edges. It is actually faded in tight in the sideburn area, but he's got a lot of length, a lot of volume in through that top area, and probably even a little bit of colour, a little bit of more of a caramel highlight in there. I think this works very well on him, having a bit more fullness because he is so chiseled and so athletic looking. He doesn't necessarily have to have it super short to slim his face down. He can have that length because he is such an athletic, good looking guy. I think this works really well with him. It's not too product heavy, and if it has got product in, it would be more blow dried into the hair as opposed to sort of really styling it with product at the end. And yeah, I think this just works really well on him. I think the stubble that he's got there compared to the hair, I think that proportion works really nice as well. Top look.